Hey everyone, it's Alexander, the real Mr. Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Fast and Furious, which came out in 2009, is the fourth film in the Fast and the Furious series, the second one to be directed by Justin Lin, and very much lives up to its tagline, New Model, Original Parts, which is incredibly corny, but it does fit with the corniness of the series to begin with. And the reason behind this tagline is because it's the first movie since the original where the four main actors are back. Well, kind of. We have Vin Diesel returning as Dominic Toretto, we have Paul Walker returning as Brian O'Connor, we have Jordana Brewster returning as Mia Toretto, and we kind of have Michelle Rodriguez coming back as Letty. But the reason I say kind of is because she dies in the first act of the film. And when I say died, I mean died in quote fingers, because we all know what eventually happens. But anyway, her death kicks off the plot to this movie where Dominic Toretto is trying to hunt down the drug cartel who was responsible for Letty's murder. And the reason Brian O'Connor gets roped back into this is because he's hunting down that same drug lord. And even though Brian lied to Dom, Mia, and his entire family, they have to work together to try to bring down this drug cartel. I didn't see this movie when it came out in theaters. I kind of had an interest in seeing it, but the reviews were so terrible that it just kind of shooed me away from it. I ultimately didn't get a chance to watch the movie until 6 years later when Furious 7 came out, and I bought the first 6 movies on Blu-ray. That's how I saw Fast 5 for the first time as well, which we'll talk about next week. But anyway, on Rotten Tomatoes, it has the lowest critical score of all the movies at 28%. And nowadays I've learned that you can't rely on Rotten Tomatoes on whether or not you're gonna like a movie, but I kind of did back in the day, so I just avoided it. And then when I eventually saw the movie for the first time on Blu-ray, after hearing all the negative press against it, I thought to myself, hey, this isn't that bad. I actually had quite a lot of fun with it. But I only saw it that one time. I rewatched it again in prep for this review, and it's not bad, but it's just not that great either. It's okay. Out of all the Fast and Furious movies, this is actually the most forgettable of the bunch. And I think the reason it's so forgettable in my opinion is that it's pretty much trying to recreate the spark that made the first Fast and the Furious movie so great. And I still stand by that first movie is pretty great. It's set back in Los Angeles. It has Dominic Toretto as your lead again. It brings back both Dom and Brian, and their chemistry still works just as well as it did in the first movie. It's got some really badass action scenes, but it doesn't really stand out that much. In a sense, it's trying to be like Jurassic World, which ironically was the fourth Jurassic Park movie. Both these movies tried to recreate that same feeling that audiences got with the first movie, which ended up being a much bigger surprise and a bigger hit than anyone could have imagined. But with Fast and Furious, if there's anything that I think is a complete detriment to the film, it's that it has an underwritten feeling to it. Letty's death is not shown until much later in the movie during a ridiculous sequence where Dominic Toretto goes to a crash site and is somehow able to study how the crash happened, even though this crash happened a long while ago. And when we first hear about Letty's death, it's when Mia calls Dom over the phone and we just hear Letty's dead. I'm like, wait, what? You killed off Michelle Rodriguez's character, but you didn't show it? You had to tell us several times? And that's more problem with the script more than the actual direction. There's a lot of exposition that goes on in this movie. In a way, it kind of has a similar plot to Too Fast, Too Furious, but I think this one's a little easier to follow because I don't like Too Fast, Too Furious at all. But even then, it just feels like there's a lot missing that could have been explored more. And like I said before, this movie came out in 2009, so I wonder if this was a casualty of the writer's strike that went on from 2007 to 2008. Because if you recall the summer of 2009, that was kind of a shitty summer. I mean, I can't say it was a total disaster in terms of summer movies, because you had great stuff like Star Trek, Up, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and District 9, but on the other side of the coin, you had some real turds like X-Men Origins Wolverine, Terminator Salvation, which is not terrible, but it's not good, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, which is my nemesis film, G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, which is stupid, unbelievably stupid, but it's a lot of fun. And all of those movies seem to have the same problem, that they felt underwritten. So I wonder if Fast and Furious was a victim of the writer's strike. I just feel like the movie does more lazy telling than actual showing. But I don't want to continue dogpiling on this movie because there's a lot of really good stuff in it as well. I think the best sequence of the movie is the opening heist, where Dom, Letty, and their crew, which also includes Han from Tokyo Drift, steal gasoline from a tanker truck. It feels just like that ending heist in The Fast and the Furious. It's action-packed, it's exciting. It really shows more than anything that Justin Lin is a great action director, and it is just a taste of the goofiness and over-the-top nature that the series would embrace later on. Because everyone says that Fast 5 is the point where the series just lost its mind, and in a way it is, but I feel like the big climax of this sequence stands toe-to-toe with some of the most insane and over-the-top moments in Fast 5 and even Fast and Furious 6. It's when Dom and Letty are seeing this tanker truck just spin out of control, hurling towards them. Dom has the engines revved up, and Letty's just looking at him going, Dom, 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 Dom! And then Dominic Toretto just hits the gas, drives straight towards the rolling tanker truck that's on fire, manages to drift under it without a scratch, and that's it. I'm like, okay, that's insane. That is absolutely ludicrous, but it's fun. That whole action scene at the beginning is a lot of fun. And then the street race in the middle of the movie is very well choreographed. And then the big tunnel chase at the end of the movie is garbage. Like, this is a horrible sequence. For all the praise that I give Justin Lin for being an action director, this sequence is awful. The CGI on the tunnels and the cars is atrocious. It looks like something out of a PlayStation 3. And considering that the PlayStation 3 is over 10 years old, I think it's now appropriate that we move on from comparing bad CGI in movies to PS2 graphics. It's not quite as ugly as the opening street race in Too Fast, Too Furious, but even then, for as great as the rest of the action in this movie is, this is just completely, it's terrible. It is awful. Other than that, I don't have much else to say about Fast and Furious. It's really entertaining. It's great to see Dominic Toretto and Brian O'Connor back together again. This movie was our introduction to Gal Gadot, who would end up playing Giselle in Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6. And even though she's now Wonder Woman, I'm convinced that she's not dead and we will see her in the future. They plan to make 2 more movies as their big finale, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if Gal Gadot came back as Giselle. And with this movie, you could tell that she's really not that experienced of an actress. But then again, this was her first movie in America, so you can give her a pass on that. Jordana Brewster doesn't really have much to do in this movie at all. I felt like she was completely wasted. And like I said, the movie has an underwritten feeling to it, but the stuff that's entertaining is entertaining, and I would say watch at your own risk. If you want to go in just for some basic action, some great car chases, and just to see Dom and Brian back together again, then this is the movie for you. But if you're looking for a movie that's a little better, something that flows more organically or just has more going for it, then Fast and Furious isn't going to do it for you. So this is one of those things where you make your own call. And there you go, that's my review for Fast and Furious. Definitely not one of the best movies in the series, but I don't think it's as terrible as people make it out to be. Next week, we're going to talk about the movie that seems to rank high, if not at the top, of everyone's list of favorite Fast and Furious movies, Fast 5. It's not my favorite of the series, and quite frankly, I think this movie's overrated. But this will finally be an opportunity for me to explain why I think it's overrated. Or who knows, maybe after I rewatch the movie, I'll be on everyone's side and going, yeah, Fast 5 is the best of the series. But we'll see next week. For now, I want to know what you guys think about Fast and Furious. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one. Hello everyone, I just wanted to say thank you all for watching my review for Fast and Furious. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, go check out my Twitch channel, and support me on Patreon. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.